listening to Opinions and Beer.
And opinions and beer. Two guys and another guy. Will never happen again.
Hello and welcome to Opinions and Beer. We're your hosts. I'm Adam.
I'm Tyler.
Keenan, what are you doing?
I need the glass for future beers. I'm not finishing that.
Oh my God! Do you guys say your name?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was preoccupied. I'm Keenan,
and we've got Brendan on the podcast, and also on the podcast today we've got Christopher from Following Films.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Can I say, as a cinemaphile, a movie buff, I'm always like, bro, let's do a movie episode. It's like, shut the fuck up. You know, I'm so happy to be doing a movie episode.
I'm glad to be here for it.
So, how long have you been doing the Following Films stuff?
It's just over 8 years I've been doing it.
Woo!
So,
8 years. Good God. That's a lot of movie watching you do.
Well, it started where I was just writing about films online, and then doing a blog, doing upkeep, that kind of stuff, started interviewing people through it, and then just decided to turn that into a podcast. And yeah, that was about 8 years ago now. So it's been kind of fun. I wouldn't have expected for it to go on this long.
Hell yeah, man. So we're going to do, we do a little segment called the Beer of the Day, and it's kind of drags for the guest, but just bear with us and we'll get into today's episode. But speaking of
The beer of the day.
the Beer of the Day, today's Beer of the Day is Vernal.
Vernal?
By
Equal Parts Brewery.
By Equal Parts Brewing Company. This beer comes in at 6%, 6.1% in alcohol by volume. This is brewed for Oktoberfest. It is a Marzen. This is our Oktoberfest recorded episode. Oktoberfest starts, I think it just started. It ends October 1st, ironically.
Oh shit. What? That's so weird.
It's ironic that Oktoberfest ends at the beginning of August.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Surely, like, we're pre-recording this shit, but no, it's right on time.
But so let's crack these babies open and see. Are you a big craft beer guy?
Big craft beer, probably not. I mean, I do like craft beer, but there's people that are really into it. I'm not like a beer sommelier or anything like that. Yeah,
we're pretty much into this stuff. We even brew our own for the podcast and try it. We don't like sample, like a lot of when you're brewing a beer, like there's like a lot of sampling processes to make sure it's turning out the way you want it to. In our podcast, we brew a beer sometimes and we just hope that it's good the day of, and so far it has been. So far it has been. So like we were able to pick it up pretty easily. I think it's because like we know what notes to go for after trying so many beers. I mean, I can't even.
You learn what you like, you know. Like I knew nothing. He's like, let's do craft beer. I'm like, bro, I'll show up. Of course, I'll drink with you and be dumb. I mean, yeah. And then like even I, with my unsophisticated palate, has learned a thing or two. You know.
Yeah, and so this beer today is a Marzen.
Can't try it. Yeah.
This beer is a Marzen. It's a classic German beer brewed for Oktoberfest and the week of Oktoberfest.
I like that. Like I'm always arguing about like beers come in so many different flavors, bro. That I'm like there'll be we try so many outlandish and ridiculous flavors that I'm like I will come to a point that I'll be like, can we try a beer flavored beer? And you know we talked about that last time. Like, bro, I want my beer flavored beer. Like, I'm tired of the strawberry and chocolate beer.
strawberry jelly chocolate beers.
But a lot of people on this show are a fan of sours, you know. Like, and I love my sours too. So I there's no complaint there really. But eventually, like, so when we do have the beers, I'm happy. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and try this beer, guys.
This is one of the least aromatic beers we've had so far.
You talking about the aroma?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very
Because
bready.
it's a beer, bro. It's a beer flavored beer for beer lovers.
Yeah. So Marzens are supposed to be brewed to the German laws of a beer, and so you can't have anything like extra in the beer. This has to be fucking malt.
Can't have
Yeast,
goddamn vanilla.
water. Like malt, yeast, and water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, it tastes like malt, yeast, and water. I should add vanilla. No, that's all you get is malt, yeast, and water. You know.
But oh yeah, but that's very a clean lager. That's a lager. We usually have ales on the podcast. Ales give off a more fruity
Again,
flavor.
I'm the beer flavored beer guy, and I give it like a 5. It tastes like fucking water, bro. Oh my god, it is just malt, yeast, and water.
Yes,
but like I've had malt, yeast, and water brewed better put in my mouth.
Oh my god. Anyways, we'll rate this beer at the end of the episode. Let's get on to this stuff. So, how do you want to do this, man? You want us to start on our list, or should we go like a round of 5s? Or oh wait,
can I be the last one? I don't even have a list yet.
But I just want to work backwards. Everybody take a turn going backwards, starting with the number 5 slot, and then everybody. If somebody else has something that happens to have crossover, we could all speak up at that time, I guess.
All right, because I don't have a list, if I could request a formula, if we could just go over everybody's top 5 and then everybody's top lowest 5, top 5 best, top 5 worst, everybody's top 5 best, and then we do everybody's top 5 worst.
All right, so you want to do best first and then worst because worst leads to better conversation?
Well, no, it's just if you ask me for my top 5 best and my top 5 worst at once, it's gonna be a lot of like me doing the research on the fucking episode. You know?
So I have a lot of
I didn't do it. You know?
So I have a lot of weird picks, and so most of this episode will be everyone criticizing me. But I'll start. We'll do top 5 best first, and we'll start at 5 and make our way to the number 1. Sure. And we're doing movies released in September. In honor of Oktoberfest! Yay!
And it's my birthday. I must that's not. I guess that's only relevant to me. All y'all calm down. It's my fucking birthday.
Happy birthday, Keenan.
Yep, so
thank you, bro.
On Keenan's birthday, we finally do the movie episode with the movie podcast guy.
You did choose the month, though, that's notorious for being a dumping ground for bad movies, though.
I know, dude. I was so afraid. He thought of this year, like, hey, man, I need you to make a list of September movies. Give me your top 5 best and your top 5 worst. And I was like, oh, 22? They're all shit. You know?
They're all shit. I guess
that one might be good, but I'm still not watching it. I don't, shit like that.
I'll start with my top. I'll start with my 5th. My 5th I chose was Across the Universe.
Oh, such a good fucking movie, bro.
Like I'm a sucker for those musicals.
Same.
And then I felt like Across the Universe with the Beatles thing, it really brought musicals back.
It was so unique, you know.
I mean, you got Across the Universe, and then what'd you get next? Rock of Ages, Mamma Mia, and then a lot more musicals got released. So I felt
the thing about Across the Universe, it wasn't really about the Beatles. It wasn't a Beatles biopic. It was just a fucking movie, but all they sang were Beatles songs and shit. Well, no, I think they ventured outside of the Beatles playlist, didn't they?
No, it's all Beatles.
Okay, so they sang like some other motherfucking song. All right, I don't know. Well, I thought that was beautiful.
I always remember I didn't tell somebody. I was bringing someone to the movies to see it, and I didn't tell them it was a musical. And so when the guy starts going, cuckoo-ca-choo, cuckoo-ca-choo, I am the walrus. I am the walrus. It was pretty hilarious.
Dude, and all the Beatles songs they played when they played them made sense with the scene. And dude, it was fucking great movie making, man.
But any comments, Tyler, on Across the Universe?
I was in theater, so I like real musicals, you know?
Okay, I feel you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on Across the Universe.
Like,
you can't just stuff a bunch of Beatles songs into a movie and be like, it's a musical.
Well,
That's
it's
just
the
not how it
way.
works.
No, every Beatles song works with the fucking scene.
Well, yeah, because every Beatles song was written about the time, so of course they work with the scenes. A musical uses the music to push the story and the dialogue along. You wouldn't know anything about Sweeney Todd unless he sang These Are My Friends about the razor blades. You wouldn't know anything about the Scarlet Pimpernel unless they sang It's Off Into the Fire We Go.
All I gotta say is fuck you.
Wait. On that, I had a
find
question
flaw
for
in
him.
everything he just said, and you're running across the universe for me.
Well, I do have a question about that though. So are you not a fan of the jukebox musicals where they retrofit a story around existing? No, not at all. Just a diehard against that whole form. Okay, fair enough.
I believe that Andrew Lloyd Webber was the worst thing that happened to musicals, like, ever. There were good musicals before Phantom of the Opera came along, and then everybody was like, oh man, we gotta do that.
So, any comments about Across the Universe making my top 5?
I think I'm somewhere in between the two of you. I don't have active disdain for it, but I don't have any love for it either. It's one of those things that I honestly would have looked right past it. I'm sure in looking through this, I saw that and just didn't even think twice about it to put it on either the love or hate. It's just one of the, which is almost more offensive to me when it can't garner any response. It's just, it's just like there's nothing there. So.
Okay. I feel like maybe I'm attaching it to like a weird memory, and that's why
Which is fair.
the cuckoo stuff, and just the awkward.
Because they snuck someone in there, like never told them anything about the movie.
The awkward looks I was getting when they were just bursting out into songs. They were just staring daggers into me.
Like the person you brought?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They were pissed.
Oh my god, you brought me to a Beatles music video. An hour and a half long Beatles music video.
No. You mean 2 hours and like 11 minutes of
Oh god damn that movie. Oh, that was a fucking long movie, wasn't it?
But what do you have for your number 5?
I went with Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master from 2012.
The Master, you said?
The Master, yeah. Have you guys seen that?
No, I haven't.
No.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. It's
oh my god, it sounds fucking great. Wait, Paul Thomas Anderson. What other movies did he do?
Paul Thomas Anderson?
Yeah.
There Will Be Blood, Boogie Nights. He did Licorice Pizza last year. He's
yeah. Like I thought he was
incredible filmmaker.
Great. Yeah.
But
Like
if you haven't seen The Master, do yourself a favor and check that out. One of Philip Seymour Hoffman's best performances. It's about Scientology, essentially, without directly saying the word Scientology, but that's kind of about that. It's about
like a parody almost, like a light parody, just to avoid saying the word.
There's nothing light about this movie. Without kind of giving anything away, there's an opening sequence. Joaquin Phoenix, he's an alcoholic that's in the Navy. They're on the beach, the Navy, and he's making this woman in the sand. And then he just starts screwing around and he starts dry humping the woman in the sand. And everyone's laughing and look at him. And then he gets into it and like really gets into it. And I think that's kind of all you need to know about that movie. That's the where that movie is. So
there, I said it.
Jeez. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix and Fillmore Hoffman, man, in a movie together.
Oh yeah, and Amy Adams. It's a phenomenal movie. Yeah, definitely check that out.
I'm surprised. I'm like shocked myself because I consider myself a movie buff for the most part, but I'm shocked that I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I mean, I will both know, especially like Joaquin Phoenix, dude. He's so good. Everything he's in, except for I never watched Her. I never like the concept creeped me out so much. I never watched it.
You should check it out. It's really good. It's a good movie.
Is it like, despite the fact like this dude falls in love with his iPhone practically is the concept, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't watch a whole movie about that. That sounds like a short film, you know?
Well, think about a movie like Buried. Where you have Ryan Reynolds is in a coffin for the entire movie.
That was different, bro. I love that movie, dude. That was so intense, you know?
You can have a small idea, and it can have, if you have good performances and strong writing that can carry that out. We don't need just this spectacle to have an interesting narrative at all, to me personally. And so something like Her, I think, is really relevant in how we do communicate with each other now. And
I think for me, it was cringy. Like, it wasn't
Sir,
I'm trying to do a fully
you haven't seen
movie
it, so
on
you
this
can't judge it.
concept. It was the concept was cringy. Like, he's like, he's deeply in love with his iPhone. And I'm like, oh my God, bro. Like,
Isn't
there's
that
apps, bro. Go
that's
out and
most
meet
people now, though.
Yeah.
How many
Do
people
what you
are
got
like
to.
that? If you think about last time you were at Thanksgiving dinner with your family, how many people pulled out their cell phones and were interacting more with that than they were with the people they supposedly love? I mean, the idea, our obsession and our need for technology that's constantly filling our lives, I think that's a very salient topic to get into. And it might be cringy and uncomfortable because it's like looking at a mirror in a way where, satire and things like that, they're not direct in that and saying this is exactly what's going on. You remove it slightly from current reality so that you can make a commentary about our actual real world experience we're going through right now.
I think you're right. Just like, I should watch it, I guess, because like, it's cringy to myself for like thinking of a guy falling in love with his fucking phone. And I know it's like deeper than that. It's supposed to be like in the future and or same time, but alternate reality where like technology is more advanced and he can actually connect with this AI, But the point
Sure.
is like, you're not fucking wrong, man.
And think about people that don't communicate well. How many people fall in love with the idea of somebody as opposed to actual individual themselves? That's what sort of the love at first sight is. It's the idea, it's the promise, it's the concept of somebody. It's not the actual person. You find love 10, 15 years in, once you really know the warts and all, and once you've seen all the ugly stuff and all the beautiful stuff. That's where love is. And so most of the time we don't see films about love. We see films about just obsession, I think.
At first sight and all that.
Sure. But yes, The Master, check that out. And Her. There you go. There's another one.
See, that's why I love films, dude. That was deep as fuck, and it's about a guy and his phone. That's a fucking... There's deep-ass context that you can... Like, literally, it creates conversations between people. And it's because of a guy and his phone.
I could have listed good films in my top 5, but I chose movies that
I like.
No, I chose
not good films.
No, I've been looking at my list. I realized that I chose films that are like that you could just put on and just like
fall asleep to.
Yeah, you can just like leave it in the background while you're cooking, like
fucking Rush Hour.
But anyway,
was that on your list?
Don't spoil my list. But anyways, you have a 5.
So number 5 on my list is going to be 2008's Ponyo by Hayao Miyazaki.
Great movie.
I believe anything by Hayao Miyazaki is pure art. And I highly respect the man and his philosophy on life. If you've ever seen any of Miyazaki, like while he's working on his stuff, he's probably one of the, like, I consider him a true artist. Like when people think of like the tortured artist, it's hilarious because while he draws the most beautiful, whimsical worlds you can think of, when you see actual like backstage footage of him working on his art, he's like choking down a cigarette and he's like, there is no beauty in the world of humanity. Then he like draws a perfect picture of like downtown Shanghai or something, and then he just crumbles it up and he's like, it's crap. And I'm just like, I totally respect that mindset as a creator, that it can never be good enough, even if it's perfect.
Yeah, he's an amazing artist. I think you can go with really any of his films and you're going to find some really interesting stuff. And especially that there's always a sadness and a melancholy underneath these beautiful images that's it's just right beneath the surface, and they're complex films.
Because it was all written by a guy that survived nuclear war, basically. Yeah. He witnessed some of the worst things a human could witness, and then he draws only whimsical beauty every time he draws something. And like you're saying, there's a sadness within the meaning of every movie. Like My Neighbor Totoro can be very depressing when you think about it. Spirited Away,
Spirited Away is kind of depressing on the surface level as well. That was
and once you dig into it even more, you're like digging yourself into a hole of depression. One of my favorite ones is Nazca and the Valley of the Wind and Castles in the Sky. I believe those two carry major downer vibes due to the fact that like the society you're seeing is one that has rebuilt itself after a world calamity apocalypse like scenario.
And it's on that sort of that global level, but it's also relating on this interpersonal level of the destruction of the self, of the, you know, your world, your family, your friends, your individual world that you have that might not be on the global catastrophe level, but it's that destruction of self that's just so that he's constantly going back to.
That's why I respect everything the man's ever written.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there.
Woo. Do you have number 5, Keenan, or you want us to just keep going and you'll comment?
Yes.
Okay.
Give me half a second. Let's talk about my 5th.
I know. You know what?
5th of the list.
You know what?
The good list.
I'm looking at my good list, and I realized that I probably should have like narrowed it down to like a decade or something. Like this, like September in the 90s or something, or 2000s. I don't know.
Nah, bro, I got this.
Well,
Give me half a second.
I just realized that like I could have probably picked good movies, and then I just picked like the things that stuck out to me, and then like I arranged them in an order that like I would watch. Like, okay, so I want you to know,
yeah, you go before
because
me.
I respect your opinion already. is that
There's no reason
I
to
like
have
good
to do that.
movies, and I
Okay.
watch a lot of movies, but this list. I want you to know this list is not a representation of me personally.
Well, you limited all of us to September. You made that decision.
This list is a representation of this list only.
Basically, why the fuck do we have to because it's the month of September now we can God damn it, we couldn't
Oktoberfest. Anyways, my number 4, and I've actually I prepared some arguments as well. My number 4 is Blue Streak because this is Martin Lawrence at the height of his powers. Martin Lawrence, who else is in this movie? Dave Chappelle's in this film, and you can just turn this movie on and get some laughs. I love the ass cream jokes, and he becomes a cop, and the pizza jokes, and all kinds of there's all kinds of silly shit. You just turn it on and just watch it.
I forgot that you went.
The ass cream.
My number
Okay.
5. Going back.
Just one.
Do we want to talk about Blue Streak
You know
at
what?
all?
God damn
Do we
it,
want to
fuck
dive
y'all.
into that
I am
one
ready.
a little bit?
I read through a whole list of movies, and it's, I got to come up with something. Sure as hell not putting this on the list of the movies I don't like. I'm ready for the ridicule. My number 5 is Sweet Home Alabama.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's like a rom-com.
That's all I got.
That's like a
I really thought I expected more.
Oh, I mean, it wasn't horrible. I mean, it's weird to be on your top 5, but I mean,
It is.
But I have Blue Streak. I literally fucking
Wait. Let's listen to him. Your thoughts on Sweet Home Alabama?
I mean, geez, between that and Blue Streak, it's like choosing the turd with the least number of peanuts in it, I guess. Man.
Bro, but like, it's not like, I guess I'll choose it. I genuinely love Sweet Home Alabama. It's so, it's fucking sweet, bro. I love that line, like, why you want to marry me anyhow? So, and he's like, so I can kiss you anytime I want. And it's like, oh. Yeah.
Oh, that is not what I would have expected at all.
Exactly, bro.
Like, I would have seen Blue Streak.
That movie had me on that line. Let's see
that.
where this goes. Yes, I will watch this movie.
So are you a big Martin Lawrence fan?
Oh, not particularly. I mean, I don't have anything against Martin Lawrence. I like the first Bad Boys is fine. It's the stuff that he chooses to do. I think he could actually, he's not a bad actor. It's that he chooses pretty bad stuff. Like the Big Mama's House, that's just
Or
so
The Black
bad.
Knight.
Oh my God.
Not good.
Wait,
man.
but like, I know I messed up the formula because I did my top 5 late, but we're on 4 now.
Yeah.
But you done yours with Blue Streak.
Yeah, we're
oh,
talking
that
about
is
it.
Martin Lawrence. I don't know shit about that movie.
Oh
I
my
never
God.
watched it. I neglect Martin Lawrence. So yes, I'll talk about it.
So Blue Streak, they rob the diamond.
Oh, yeah.
And they hide it in this construction facility. That construction facility, when he gets out of jail, he's gonna go get it. But that facility is a police station, and so he becomes a police station with Luke.
He always strikes me as someone who like does acting for money. Like he ain't even got a passion for it. He'll do any project thrown his way.
So he pretends to be a cop with Luke Wilson. And
you had me at Luke Wilson.
Oh yeah, one of the lesser of the Wilson brothers.
He was in Idiocracy.
Dude, Luke Wilson is so underrated, bro. He is not bad at all.
So, is that your number 4?
Yes.
My number 4 would be Mel Brooks's Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, man.
Oh, you went deep.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Men in Tights. Hell yeah.
Solid gold, no arguing, period. Otherwise, yeah.
Once again, you have a legendary man who fought in the Battle of the Bulge, who dug himself through the trenches of the Somme, and then here he comes singing Hitler on Ice and Jews in Space. The man, the myth, the legend, Mel Brooks.
That's probably Cary Elwes at his finest. He's been really horrible in a lot of movies. And there's 2 movies that he was really, really good in. And I would say Robin Hood Men in Tights is one of them. He has this very narrow lane that he's just absolutely phenomenal in. But when he gets outside of that, really, really bad. Like, it's unbelievable how bad he can be in certain things. But in that movie, he's perfect, man. Chef's Kiss, great movie. Nothing wrong with that.
Anybody got anything else?
No, that's a good pick. A good solid pick.
All right, what's your number 4?
I'm going to go with LA Confidential.
Okay.
If you guys have the Curtis Hanson movie, 1950s, kind of looking back at the noir films, and it's oddly enough, it's the Russell Crowe and his relationship with Kim Basinger in that movie is what I go back to time and time again when I rewatch that movie. And it's just something that I find something new in it every time. And that's just something that you're watching performance. It has beautiful cinematography, has great set design, but really this is a movie that could be done as a play. You're just watching actors act. They're doing that. This could be Black Box. It's that bare bones as far as just performance is concerned. And that's something that I always appreciate. It's a really tight script for a movie that's like 2.5 hours long. It feels like it's 45 minutes long. It just moves. There's those rare movies, I think, that are in that 2.5 to 3 hours long that just go by in an instant. And that's absolutely one of those. And every time I just get caught back up in that. And that's something that's rare in a noir film where it's kind of a whodunit mystery, which in a movie like that, or in a movie like Chinatown, really the whodunit aspect of it is that's the MacGuffin. It's secondary. It doesn't really matter because what you're watching are characters. So what do you guys think of LA Confidential?
I actually didn't have, like, a long time ago, before I started hanging out with a guy named Chad, I actually didn't have much of a love for black and white, any movies before, like, Telecolor. But then,
Sure.
Then he introduced me to movies, very classic ones like Citizen Kane, Casablanca. He started me off with the heavy hitters, and then he was like, now dig into that, and LA Confidential is one of the ones that Chad really liked. He told me compared to movies like Citizen Kane, and it's one thing I agree with, like compared to movies like Citizen Kane and like you just mentioned Chinatown, it kind of gets swept under the rug compared to them, Casablanca, because they have such huge names. But it, like you said, I think it's really good when a movie is like 3 hours long but feels like it's like 45 minutes. It's like a magical wonder yet a sadness at the same time because it felt like it went too fast.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's really rare when you just want to spend more time in that world. And most movies you feel like you overstayed your welcome, but it was like, all right, let's wrap this up. Let's get out of here. You can feel like the director fell in love with the footage, which I get, but this one is just such an incredible movie. And it's Guy Pearce really as kind of the wide-eyed prosecutor in the film, or the wide-eyed detective, and just seeing him playing that, somebody who's just corrupted by power, and just that first taste of it. It's just a beautiful movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Definitely check it out.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah, man. LA Confidential.
It's a good one. What's your number 3?
Number 3, and I want to say that if anything happens...
Wait, I never gave my number 4.
Wait.
You got a number 4?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, y'all made me lose it because y'all like.
Well, wait.
Moving on. To
Okay,
number 3.
if anything happens, we will send you a new link. I just want you to forewarn you.
Okay.
We didn't doing number
I-
3 or 4.
We're doing number 4.
I've seen
What's
a,
your number 4, Keenan?
Uh,
Were you looking? You should have
Yeah,
been
I
looking
was.
while we're doing this.
He's like, oh, I had one, but then I kept scrolling because you guys said number 3.
yeah, literally that.
Oh my goodness.
Well, look, if you're not able to find something that's up to the level of Sweet Home Alabama, then I mean, I don't know if we need to go on at that point. It could just be take all.
All right,
five
so
spots.
my number 3 is also Sweet Home Alabama. No, I'm joking. I loved it that much. You know,
Oh
no,
my God.
The Equalizer was like okay, but it was like we'll go with the re-release of The Lion King.
The 3D re-release of The Lion King.
You know what pissed me off about that movie?
What, the re-release or the movie in general?
Like are you talking about the like the
No.
3D Lion King?
In 20,
Yeah.
No. Wait.
Yeah, in 2011 they
In
re-released
2011,
it.
they released the animated version as 3D.
And it was in September, and that's why it's on this list.
Okay, well, good job for taking the easy road out.
The Rundown.
The rundown. The rundown. The Rock at his corniest. Sean William Scott at his worst.
Exactly. But I enjoyed it.
The Rock.
I was like, oh yeah, The Rock. I know him from
You know
wrestling.
the only thing,
so I watched it.
the only reason why I'll watch that movie.
It's because The Rock is so great,
No,
right?
it's because Christopher Walken's in it, and he's great in everything he's in.
And so is The Rock, goddammit.
No, The Rock just plays The Rock. That doesn't mean he's great.
And it's great.
Oh my God.
He comes in flipping eyebrows.
I know. I had no problem with that. I was so happy that The Rock has transitioned from fucking WWF, not E, to fucking a movie star. I was down from the beginning. Fuck all y'all.
So what's your number 3, Adam?
My number 3 is Corpse Bride. Now I chose Corpse Bride because I felt like it's a solid follow up in the Tim Burton line of animation as far as like
Tim Burton.
Well, I felt like it just brought that. Anyone that loves
Nightmare
Before
Christmas.
Christmas is gonna
Yes.
love Corpse Bride. It's just that I feel like
Nightmare
it's
Before Christmas, though, that's not Tim Burton didn't direct that one. Now
what?
he didn't direct
Hold
it.
up.
I'm
No,
not kidding.
hold up. I remember seeing.
Maybe he
hold
didn't.
up.
Did he not do it?
Who directed
I think he was
Nightmare
head
Before
producer of it.
Christmas?
Oh,
Yeah, he was the producer of it, and it looks very similar to his style, but he didn't direct that.
Henry Selick directed The Nightmare Before Christmas. Dude, everyone gets so caught up on the Tim Burton
Well, it's
train.
because it says Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Henry, what's his name, probably isn't going to put a lot of butts in seats. So
Right.
I guess that's you put his.
well,
name
shit.
above
Well, Corpse Bride is Tim Burton's version of the Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's a fucking sequel, bro, I swear.
I don't know. It's
I meant prequel.
I like the animation and I like the songs in there and I think it's a solid pick.
I remember, didn't we go see that in theater?
Probably.
My number 3 is Remember the Titans.
Fucking A, right, bro.
It's a solid.
I can
movie.
put on Remember the Titans any day of the week, and I can
Anytime.
I can just watch it.
Hell yeah.
As a guy who played football growing up, and as a guy who had a very I had a dad with a winner's mentality. So when I was in sports, the goal was to win. So watching that movie and listening to Denzel Washington chew into to the young guys, the whole and the school that was the first black and white football team, like the anti-segregation laws and stuff like that. That movie, sometimes I feel like people right now need to go and watch that movie. I feel like as a country, we all need to sit down and go watch that movie.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody's forgot. And I guess because I watch it all the time, I haven't forgotten. You should go watch that movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a good flick, man. There's nothing wrong with Remember the Titans. It's one of those ones that, to me, normally those types of movies just don't work for me. I could care less about sports. Never been my thing. I can enjoy a sports movie from time to time, but that one particularly is something that's really good. I would say that's probably one of the better, if not best, football movies out there.
I would say it's the best football movie of all time. And another thing that I love about it is all the players. You know, you have your star-studded cast. You know, you have Denzel Washington, you know, playing the coach and all that. But then the players weren't necessarily a star-studded cast at the moment. But if you were to go back and make that movie and pick all the same actors, it would be considered a star-studded cast.
Fucking Sons of Anarchy and shit.
But that's my number 3.
Well, my number 3, kind of in the same vein as the Game Plan. No, I'm joking. No, but no, my number 3 was literally Corpse Bride also. So.
Okay.
What was your number 3?
It was going to be Red State by Kevin Smith.
Red State is solid, dude.
Dude, that wasn't even on my list.
I argue
Fuck my
with people
list.
all the time that Red State is Kevin Smith's best movie.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
the best movie he's ever filmed.
I changed my answer. Mine's
it
Red
might,
State also.
yeah, I think that's right. It is his best movie. It might not be my favorite
Dude,
movie,
it's fucking
but
deep,
it is undeniably his best
It's
movie.
a lot of shit, bro.
Did you ever listen to any of Kevin Smith's podcasts?
Sure, yeah.
If you listen to Fat Man on Batman,
Yeah, I love
you've
that
heard
podcast.
the origin to Tusk and to Red State because they
Yeah.
talked about it on the show.
Yeah,
That's
that's-
another reason I love that movie is because I remember being in the
State.
The origin.
Oh yeah, I remember sitting in the theater having like a very minor sense of like superiority to like maybe I was wondering like how many of these people listened to the podcast and heard the birth of this movie.
Yeah, it's and beyond that, because I think Kevin Smith is really smart with that part of it, because people that have that inside track on his inspiration, his idea, the stories behind the films, I think they end up a little bit more attached to his properties than they might otherwise if they didn't have the fondness for him as a person. And so, but Red State, I think, is something that absolutely works outside of that. It's one of the few films he's made that you don't have to love his work to really appreciate. I mean, Michael Parks is great in it. That ending, that's like when you think that hell might actually be opened up at that point. Like that movie, it set that up where it could have been the end of the world. And I really love what it does with that ending. And it's one of the few films that he's made that's actually haunting, for lack of a better word. A great little film.
Number 2.
You ready for my number 2? My number 2 is Buried. Now I put number 2 as Buried. I think Buried is it's Ryan Reynolds in a box. I literally copied it in Locked Doors 3. Like we literally refilmed that.
Hold on. Because I do not have number 2 on my list, and I would like to add to your list. That is the most theatrical / dramatic that you see Ryan Reynolds. And even in this movie, he cops jokes. I love how when he's on the phone, he's fucking dying, and he's talking to someone he doesn't like and shit. And when it comes to hanging up, like he's still like, "Fuck you, bye." You know what I mean?
What I thought Buried was pretty like it's
a movie. Man.
If you notice my list, I try to have like either films that are like monumental as far as like they launch something. I think Buried launched like a big part of the like the single setting, like popular single setting films. You had
Like-
Buried, and then you have Sunset Limited.
Well,
then you
hold on,
had
like,
Carnage
The payphone
with John
walk
C. Reilly.
so Buried could run.
Huh?
You know, I said the payphone walk because Buried.
No,
could run.
that's my favorite. That's my number 1 favorite film.
Oh.
Phone Booth.
I was like,
Phone
was
Booth.
that in September? Or is
No,
that number
phone.
one?
No. But Phone Booth is my favorite film
I
of
know,
all time.
like,
So
and I know this. That's
so
why
single-
I said that.
So single film location, like movies that are able to like draw you in.
You see what you do
Or
when you
like-
limit us to movies based in September?
No,
You know?
but yeah.
We could be talking about the payphone right now.
But it's Phone Booth.
Oh yeah, I know
It just takes place in a
Payphone.
payphone.
The cell phone.
That's
Yeah.
what you call a phone booth. Like there's a payphone over there, bro.
The call box.
Call box.
But
Well,
I-
I mean,
I like
in all
Buried. I felt
fairness,
like
they don't
it-
exist anymore.
I felt like Buried revitalized that genre, and we got some really cool films out of that. But and I like the movie itself. So
Yeah, it's a solid little movie. It's one of those things you go back and you watch it, and it's a little bit disappointing that Ryan Reynolds just leans into the snark more than he does into acting, because he actually has the chops. He could do it if he wanted to, and he just chooses not to. And that's fine, but he could if he wanted to.
Rests on his laurels as Deadpool.
I mean, if I had those abs, I would rest on those too. So
I mean,
Yeah, bro, like
he was doing really good movies. He did that movie with
Deadpool was released in
what's that-
September. It'd be on this fucking list.
what was that movie that Ryan Reynolds did, and Darth Vader's in it, and there's the baseball cards, the lottery ticket, so many
With
people.
Kel Mitchell?
No, it's a lottery ticket movie. They win the lottery, and they're doing like a gambling game, and the guy who plays Darth Vader, who voices Darth Vader,
James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones shows up, and he's like, "That's my ticket." And who SLC Punk guy's in it? What's his name?
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard's in it. It's a fucking stacked cast of like back in the day people. And I don't know. I just know that Ryan.
How do you
Reynolds,
know Matthew Lillard is still irrelevant?
I just know that Ryan Reynolds
Shaggy
has
will always be
he
there.
has
Yeah,
exactly.
SLC punks. I always think of that. as
he
Scooby-Doo.
has the acting chops, but like I guess it's cool that he's banking on his what's the college movie he did?
Oh, Van Wilder?
Yeah, he's banking on his Van Wilder gimmick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, bro, I think we
I
could
agree.
have had such great conversations, and you fucked us by like.
No,
limiting it to
calm down.
September.
It's
You
fine.
fucking fucked
no,
us.
I'm good with that, because if you just did all time, that's too many. I think with something like this, you have to limit the scope of it. It's like
Well, I literally have like
So my
five of
fa-
the greatest I'd love to be talking about instead of shit released in September.
My number 2 movie
SLC Punk being one of them. So
would
sorry.
be released for the month of September. Would be A Bronx Tale.
great movie.
Oh, that is-
love it,
Dude,
I
clicked
got
on
to
something.
see.
Fuck my list. Y'all had such a better list than me.
No, it's not. It's all the same.
I clicked on the second thing Google offered me.
As a theater guy, I got to see Chaz Palminteri perform the one-man show version of that, where he plays all the parts.
Oh
And it's
shit.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it sounds
that's
amazing.
That's where it started from. Chaz Palminteri did that on Broadway as a one-man show, and so he played all the parts. He played the son, he played the dad, he played the gangster. And he would just, he pulls it off so beautifully. But that movie is incredible. It's I think that was the first movie that Robert De Niro directed, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and he played the
Robert
dad.
De Niro fucking directed the movie?
He played the dad in that movie, and that was it's weird because that's one of those movies that that's a movie me and my dad bonded over. Me and my dad always bonded over mafia movies.
Yeah.
Because that was like a thing about my dad. He was in the Navy. He hung out with a couple of real mafia guys when he got out of the Navy, and he lived in California for a while. So those guys were very romanticized to my dad, the mafia guys.
Hell yeah.
And so we always bonded over mafia movies, in particular the relationship between Z and his dad, the bus driver versus, idolizing the bus driver versus idolizing the gangster. His dad wanting him to do better. I love the whole movie. My favorite scene in that movie is when they beat the fuck out of the bikers.
Yeah.
But the reason I love it is the change in music. The music in that scene starts off with heavy metal because the biker guys are all trashing the bar and acting tough. And then as soon as they start getting their asses whipped, it switches
just
to
lock the
I Will
door.
Only Ever Have One Love.
So good.
Hold on, is this Now You Can't Leave?
Yeah, Now Yous Can't Leave.
Yeah.
Bro.
It's the
Yeah, I know everything you're talking about. I just didn't know that movie was released in
And
September.
sometimes a movie with a narrator can really get on my nerves.
Listen,
But
fucking
that
on my
movie,
list.
that scene where it's as soon as he locks the door and he's like, so you guys can't leave now. And he's like, all of the strength was just wiped from their faces. You can see it. And I was just like, it's perfect.
No,
Yeah,
I
to-
love a movie with that narrator, man.
to me, it's because I think we probably saw that similar ages. I saw it when I was a teenager, and it's the would you rather people love you or fear you moment. And when you're a teenager, you're like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want the world to fear me. And then it's when you get older, you start to realize that that's a really empty existence, living with people fearing you. And that's the whole point of the movie. Robert De Niro was really the badass of that movie, that in the face of all of that, he was one who chose love. He chose to not have a world that was filled with all this violence, and it's just an incredible movie. And I think it's one of those ones you can revisit at different points in your life, and you'll see it in a completely different way.
A scene that didn't get to me until I was about 25. It didn't hit me as hard. The boxing scene.
Yeah.
Where he goes and his dad's like, no, go sit with your friends if you want to. You don't got to sit with me with the seats I paid for with my hard-earned money.
Ooh, yeah.
Just
Dude,
like, oh, damn, no, I'd sit with my dad, but he doesn't, the little dumb shit. You know, you sit there as an adult now, and you're like, no, dumb shit, sit with your dad. Don't go sit with the assholes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, I've been drinking. What movie are we talking about?
The Bronx Tale.
Bronx Tale.
I knew that.
Oh my god.
Testing you.
That's my number 2. And your number 2?
My number 2. Okay, so this is going nothing nearly as classy as a Bronx Tale, because I am kind of a genre guy. I love horror films, love sci-fi, love action. So The Guest, Adam Wingard movie. Have you guys seen this?
The Guest?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't. Calm down. I've been drinking.
Well,
I don't remember, but I remember seeing it.
when did it come out though?
Oh God, I don't have it pulled up in front of me.
No, it's fine.
The just going off the top of my head, it was the 2014 Dan Stevens movie, and it's basically
is The Guest with who's the star of it again? You said
Dan Stevens.
Okay.
And it's this movie about a guy who comes back. His apparently he's the friend of this family's son who died at war, and he comes back to say, just say his condolences to this family, and then it becomes clear that there's something up with this guy. I don't want to give away this movie. It's essentially it's a action movie that's delivered like a horror film. So it plays up horror movie tropes, but it's at its heart, it's an action movie. Adam Wingard, who did the movie Who's Next, he's a phenomenal filmmaker. He's moved on to much bigger things now, but the soundtrack in The Guest, it just has one of those kind of like Drive, all the moody needle drops throughout the whole thing. Really great score. So I think you guys should check that one out.
I just want to say that description that you just gave, what was it? A man coming back to talk to somebody that he'd served with or whatever, a veteran, like kind of horror vibes, but it's an action movie. This sounds also like a description of First Blood.
Interesting.
Like Rambo First Blood?
Yeah. No, and by the way, Rambo's First Blood is a movie that I think needs to be thought of on its own, not with all the movies that comes after it, because it's a really great film on its own. Really, really good film. And I think his performance at the end when he's has that monologue where he breaks down and cries at the end of it, it's just really powerful stuff. And but that kind of, yes, it does play into that, but this is not a sympathetic character at the center of the film. The Dan Stevens character is not like that.
I never thought of Rambo as being particularly sympathetic either. Like, boy got beat with the hose, but I don't know how many people I would kill over that personally.
No, he's a guy dealing with PTSD. It's that he comes back to this town, and the idea that this point in time there was just such animosity, and there was so much. We think that we're bad with left and right shit in this country right now. The country, the way that it was at the time of the Vietnam War, the soldiers that were coming back completely fucked up, had no, I wanted to rejoin society, and society had changed since they left, and they were not welcome back with a hero's welcome. The way that, I think now we get that a little bit better. You can be anti-war, but you still will most people will still respect and appreciate what soldiers do and the sacrifice that they make with their families. So most people will be on that side now. We didn't have that for a while. And I think there was a big pushback, and that's kind of what that film's about to me. And I do see him as sympathetic because going through, he's fucked up. He's destroyed. He's ruined. He's a broken man at that point. The rest of the movies, they play him out to be like this superhero thing. But in that movie, it's really dealing with the trauma of war.
Hell yeah.
Woo! Number 1.
My number 1. This is a film that is huge film, biggest film of all time.
Is it a good film?
It's such a big film.
Is it Blue Streak Part 2?
My number 1 is Rush Hour.
Oh my god.
Jackie Chan, Chris.
Oh my god.
Jackie Chan.
My god.
Chris Tucker, franchise making son of a bitches.
Yes, it's fucking good.
Hey, you know what though? What's
number 1?
What's crazy is that I think like the week before that, probably a better movie came out was
Of course. Why is it your number?
No, Jackie Chan's Who Am I came out the same week. I think
there's a better movie that came out that week, probably.
Yeah, Who Am I was really good, but Rush Hour is a staple in Jackie Chan's American film history, and I put it as my number one because of the what it stands for, and Chris Tucker's best role.
Fucking murder.
All right.
No, Chris Tucker's best role. I'll go to Jackie Brown on that.
What did you say?
I'll go to Jackie Brown for Chris Tucker's
Oh,
best
okay,
role.
yeah.
But I mean, I would say
Not a
that
bad movie, man. It's just like
Rush Hour isn't even. That's not even Jackie Chan's best movie.
it's not. It doesn't break any cinematography records, man. It's not a cult classic. What do you got going for that? You know?
My number one movie. Now, I thank you for calling my number two classy, because my number one. The reason why it's my number one is because I had no idea this movie was released in September, but as I was doing my research, I actually found it. It was the only one I had written down before I thought Adam told me not to worry about the list. But my number one movie that was released in September, Hackers.
Another great.
Oh my God!
Hackers is good.
Man, hold on.
The sound, look, this movie came to me at a time in my life when my parents had just divorced and I was really depressed. The soundtrack to that movie
Shit.
Is the shit.
The soundtrack to that movie mixed with weed.
Yeah!
And
Dude.
then Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard in that movie. We were
Yes.
just talking about that earlier today. Not because of this fucking list. My list was so
I tried
flawed, dude.
I tried to be one of those guys in high school. Like, you wear the jacket and you have the rollerblades and y'all, you gotta have your technology.
Matthew
and stuff.
Lillard walks so
trading
fucking
burnt
E-boys could
CDs
run.
with people. Yo, you like Metallica songs that got all their greatest hits on a burnt CD? I'll make one for you.
Dude,
So
he was so
I
good in that
have to.
movie.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Like, dude, my list is so flawed.
Hold up. What's he? What are you getting at?
Hackers is also my number one movie, but it was my number one worst movie.
What, fucking Hackers?
Hackers
Yeah.
is.
I mean,
Hackers
it didn't
was-
age well.
I was working in a movie theater at the time, so I saw Hackers in the theater. I think 5 times or something like that.
Yeah.
And that movie is so bad. And I know it came to you at a very important point in your life, and you're
Well,
dealing with
now
stuff.
it
and
is.
I understand
yeah.
how that can have an impact on it, but that movie is all bad style with no substance. Like, if you have style that's good, like if you go to like a Repo Man type movie and you can look back at that and you're like, yeah, it's like goofy style, but Buckaroo Banzai, it still kind of works. Like, it has its own thing. Hackers has a really bad thing. It feels so cynical. And it's like the way they talk about the internet is so cute. It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
All right.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I actually have.
We are keyboard samurai.
I know I'm very unprepared, but I have a number one.
Okay.
We are number one, right?
Yes.
Thank God, because I don't have another one after this. The Town, bro.
Okay. Ben Stiller's The
Yeah,
Town.
everyone calm down.
Ben Affleck.
No, Ben,
Ben
Affleck.
Affleck, Ben
not
Affleck.
Stiller.
No.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, it's such a joke. I thought it was Ben Stiller. You know?
Well, I mean, Ben Stiller, he's doing Severance now, so he's doing some.
Oh, Severance is
high-minded
fucking
stuff.
good.
Yeah.
I love
Well,
Severance.
hold on now. Like, I know he's great, but like,
Severance
you don't
is
think
good.
The Town is great?
No, The Town's fine. Yeah.
Fine. I mean, it's good. I don't love it. Don't hate it.
Dude, I thought it was great. I thought it was great. Like, Jeremy Renner really showed his actor chops before he just became Hawkeye for a career. You know? Jeremy
I
Renner,
mean-
like, dude, like, that's his, like, best
So-
friend and shit.
Wouldn't you
like,
put The Hurt
he's
Locker
so
above that, though? If you were
underrated
going
back
for a
then,
Jeremy
Jeremy
Renner
Renner.
movie?
And now he's just, dude, he showed his acting chops back then, and now he'll probably just be Hawkeye and then retire. You know?
Oh my God.
So I had a quick thought.
Yeah.
An idea, just in case, you know, the computer decides that we're going to run out of time again because this conversation's so fun.
Okay.
I have an idea for our 5 worst movies. Rattle off 5 of them off real quick, and then everybody pick the one that they have the most problem with.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, wait.
Dragon Wars.
Wait, no, wait. Okay, wait. I have 5. We'll do this.
I gotta do my number one best, though. I didn't get that
Yeah,
one.
right after
Oh,
he
yeah.
does this.
Whoa,
Right after he
so
does
much
this.
more important than worst.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I would much rather use time to I don't know, put something up on a pedestal than to knock something down.
True.
You know, and and something like Hackers, it does kind of feel like punching down for some reason. It's like they already, yeah. Anyway, so my all-time favorite September release would be The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Wait, hold on. That was really fuck my list, bro. I want to change my answer. He's right. That's such a good movie. I just googled the September shit, and then the first one was like 2022, and I'm like, no, that's not what I mean. And the second one was like all-time grossing, so I clicked on it, and god damn it, my shit was imperfect. I did not do a lot of research, and I'm down with his number one.
Well, to me, that's probably, I think, Brad Pitt's scariest role. You know, California is like, or California 12 Monkeys, he shows that he can do like these big character actor things, but the character that he plays in Assassination of Jesse James is frightening.
He's Jesse James, bro. He's the villain, you know?
Oh, he's amazing.
Oh, and dude, like, Casey Affleck
is wonderful.
poor him, just living in the shadows of Ben Affleck, bro. Good actor, so underrated, man. I liked him, and no one, I feel like I'm the only one on the face of this planet that's gonna be like, liked him in Good Will Hunting, you know? No one else fucking was like, thought about that dude. Like, he was a good actor, you know?
Still is, yeah. Yeah, he's a great actor. I mean, he did, he's been nominated for an Oscar more recently than his brother at this point, I think, for, what was the movie that he did with the girl from Dawson's Creek a couple years ago? I can't remember the name of it offhand.
Yes.
Movie about depression.
I will pretend to know that movie.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I think he's a phenomenal actor, and that movie is. If more people need to see it, more people need to talk about it. It should be considered amongst the best westerns of all time.
Oh fuck yes, bro! I agree.
The cinematography, the acting.
People talk about 3:10 to Yuma more in that movie, and it upsets me. You know?
and that's not even the best 3:10 to Yuma.
I know, right?
As somebody that lives in Arizona, you know that I've been to Tombstone many times. That stuff is right down the street from my house. So yes.
Hell yeah, man. So what was your idea for the top the 5 worst?
Just rattle them off.
Rattle them off. Okay.
Rattle them off, and if somebody has a problem with one of them, just let it be known.
My number 5. So 5 is least worst to worst. So 5 to 1 is least worst to worst. So number 5, Skip Trace.
Never heard of it.
Skip Trace was Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville.
That movie, yeah.
Oh my god.
So it's funny.
Straight to DVD.
Well, I thought it was ironic. I thought it'd be funny to do Rush Hour as number 1 and then Skip Trace as one of my my worst movies.
It's the same movie.
So number 4 is Devil.
Fuck him, not Sean.
Now here.
Well, he produced it. He didn't direct it.
Now I have a weird thing with Devil because, like, Devil almost didn't even make my worst 5. It almost made like my neither or. But as I sit on it, I'm just so like annoyed with how cheap that fucking ending is. Dude. With the grandma, like the whole movie was like, which one's the devil, and like people are dying off, and then obviously there's a fucking twist because produced by M. Night Shyamalan, and it's like, oh, the dead person was the devil the whole time. And so, and I remember watching the trailer. We were in the theaters for the
and I was excited, weren't you?
No, we were watching the trailer for the movie. And it was like, it was going great. Everyone was enjoying the trailer. And then produced by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh my god, it's gonna be garbage.
Dude, no. And yeah, this guy in the back, he's all like, oh shit. He's like, so
yeah, dude, like he's fucking shit, bro.
He was so pissed.
He did the last Airbender. Fuck that guy. Yeah.
See,
but number 3 is
Old's a solid little thick. Give him another chance. The Visitor. He's done some good movies in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan is actually
not give him a chance ever.
But I feel like I was upset because Devil didn't perform as well as it should have, and so I was really looking forward to because that was supposed to be a part of a trilogy. Like
literally his last hit was The Sixth Sense.
Devil was supposed to be a part of a trilogy he was producing, and one of them was going to be like a 12 Angry Men, but like a possession. Like they were going to like be during a possession, I believe. And like I really was looking forward to them making that movie, and they never got around to it because this one flopped. but
it's garbage.
But my number 3 is Resident Evil Extinction.
Well, before you say that, I would like to say a lot of Resident Evils got released in September. If I could, it's all on there, bro.
Because they suck.
No, I think Extinction.
Oh my God,
Where they belong.
so garbage.
Those are September, January movies if there ever were ones.
Number 2, Casper Meets Wendy. The
Okay,
reason
that's-
why
No,
Talk
bro,
about
you know
punching
this is
down. Come on, dude.
It's later. After.
No, Casper Meets
It's
Wendy
after the 90s.
was the official nail in the coffin of the Casper franchise for me. I realized that's when
No, Christina
because
Ricci.
that's because I realized that the second movie wasn't just like a random mishap. I realized, okay, no. After the first movie, they're just gonna keep getting worse. Like I thought maybe we would get some like macabre comedy, but nothing.
I thought you were going to say that you realized you were an adult and you shouldn't be watching Casper movies and judging them.
No, you realized that you can't tell the Casper one with Christina Ricci.
Now,
there,
number one, my number one pick was this because it received so much promotion. Like, I remember seeing so much trailers and like fucking posters everywhere in malls and Walmarts and everywhere. This movie received so much hype. Dragon Wars was complete fucking garbage. I thought Dragon Wars got so much hype. It was promoted through the fucking roof. Like, and I was like, oh yeah, this movie's gonna be fucking balls, dragons attacking the fucking New York City or whatever the fuck's going on, and it was just trash.
And they spent all their money on their promotion.
All their money. I thought that would...
So, here's the thing. My worst movies released in September, I know for a fact that 2 of them might be very controversial, and I don't care. So, here we go. Number 5. A movie that I think is terribly overrated, especially because the director, in my opinion, has better movies out there. Pulp Fiction.
No!
I think Pulp Fiction is overrated. Samuel L. Jackson makes all of his scenes, yes. But I've never considered Bruce Willis to be a pinnacle actor. He more or less just is Bruce Willis in a lot of his shit. You know, like, look at me, I'm too tough to be phased, Bruce Willis. I push around people, I'm Bruce Willis. I felt like The Sixth Sense, like he brought up earlier, Keenan brought up, The Sixth Sense, I felt like he was actually acting. But then a lot of his other movies, especially ever since he's been just trailing off of his Die Hard fame, he just plays John McClane in every movie. He's like, yeah, I can just be wise and smart to whoever I want to be. And I think Pulp Fiction is just like, it's one of those movies that you said that LA Confidential is 2 hours, feels like 45 minutes. Pulp Fiction's like 2 hours, feels like 5. Feels like that movie never fucking ends.
Love it. Love every single frame of that movie. Work of art, sir.
Number 2, Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. You see, Steven Seagal's Under Siege 1 was already a crappy film, and then they went ahead and decided instead of a Navy battleship, let's be on a train.
He's not even doing anything.
Oh, wait, that's the one with Eric Bogosian, right?
Yes.
Okay, where he's the villain?
Yeah, and he does the eye soldering thing, you know?
You know what? His performance is actually pretty fun.
Well, yeah, it's like
absurd.
comparing him to
Eric
Tommy
Bogosian's
Lee Jones,
fun.
though. The bad guys in Under Siege movies are great. The bad guys in Under Siege movies are great. It's every other character.
Oh yeah, it's a Steven Seagal movie though. So I mean, it's like saying the acting was bad in a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. Like if the acting happens to be good, that's a surprise.
So
I mean,
number 3. This is another one that I think is going to be controversial. I am not the biggest fan of vampires. And when vampires are in movies, I think they should be treated kind of
Are you gonna say Underworld?
badass.
I'm afraid it's gonna say
Okay?
Underworld.
So, Interview with a Vampire, I think, is pretentious and
Whoa!
wild.
No! I've been on the edge of this fucking podcast the whole goddamn time, half in the picture. I'm showing up to say,
You can tell me about your gay love for Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt all
yes,
you want,
that's
but
part of it. I mean,
It's a big part.
that was really...
that's the only reason that movie exists is to see Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt act like
This
two
is no longer
fucking
about
gay
you.
vampires.
Stop! This is no longer about you. What? That movie was released in September?
Yeah.
Top 1.
All right.
I didn't know that. My fucking list was flawed, bro.
I didn't do my
Oh my
research.
God.
My wrist was flawed. I like gay vampire movies.
Interview with a
so did-
Vampire was so influential to me. It's Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. Tom Cruise in love with Brad Pitt.
You know, I put Blade over Interview
Yeah,
with a
because
Vampire.
he killed Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, and you love that.
And my favorite vampire movie is called 30 Days of Night because
Yeah.
I read the comic 30 Days of Night.
Yeah, but it gets...
And look, the vampires were like
Fuck
malicious
That
monsters,
was good.
savages, creatures. They tore people apart.
Yeah,
they were
30
badasses.
30 Days of Night is good.
Dude, the chick... Who was the chick that played MJ?
You're really gonna fucking defend what's her name? Fucking Mary Jane from fucking Tobey Maguire's
Yeah,
Spider-Man?
what's her name?
Kirsten Dunst?
Yeah, that was Kristen Dunst's like first fucking role.
Yeah, and she was so robotic the whole movie.
Oh my god! I think
Okay, all right. Let's pump the brakes a little
But then
bit.
again, she's robotic
He's
in
probably
every
right.
movie.
He's probably right. I was just so raised on it. I was like, we don't fucking talk shit on that movie. We accept it as the producers intended. You know?
So just pump the brakes for a second. One of the things that you bring up is one of the things I actually love about this movie. The idea that you had a mainstream movie with two of the biggest male actors of their time at that moment were playing in a love story together. And that's something that was really subversive at the time. That's something that I wouldn't minimize because there's a lot of people who didn't have that representation. And so they could see themselves in a movie like that in a way they hadn't before.
Right, I feel the same way about Brokeback Mountain.
Which was a great movie.
Yeah, no, Brokeback Mountain is a great movie.
So to me, that part, to minimize it and say it's just that one thing, that's actually one of its strengths that I think is there. Now, the actual film itself, I think, is really quite beautifully shot. Kirsten Dunst, her performance in it, you can say that it's wooden, but this is actually a child that's playing someone that's far older. And the moment when she cuts off her hair, the pathos that she portrays in that is really powerful. Because if you consider this is an 11-year-old girl pulling off that role, there's depth to that character that I rarely see in mainstream Hollywood movies. To me, I think it's as far as popcorn blockbuster movie making goes, which is what that would fall under to me. It's a great little movie, man. I think that there's also the idea that could have been River Phoenix in the Christian Slater role. Always kind of gets me a little bit. Always makes that part of me makes me a little sad. So like I'm getting a little goosebump just even thinking about the For River title card at the end of it. It's just that I don't know. I mean, I understand you might hate the movie, but I have
like the movie guy knows his shit. Shocker.
Wait a minute. I've been making good points all night. You haven't made any. He's been making good points. Don't act like his words are yours.
Then you mentioned fucking Interview with a Vampire. You don't touch that, bro. It's sacred.
Right. Okay. So, number two worst movie released in September is called Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. It not only gets half the shit wrong about his life, Jason Scott Lee anybody who does a Bruce Lee impression, they always do a caricature. And I feel like that's what you get from Jason Scott Lee, is a caricature of Bruce Lee.
I'd agree with that.
And number one worst movie ever released in September, the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh yeah, I'm on page with that. That was September. Fuck that movie.
I forgot that was released.
With those big ridiculous Goombas.
Oh yeah. And John Leguizamo was the only person who looked like they were putting forth effort. And this was back during his cocaine days. So drugged out John Leguizamo was the only person putting in effort.
Yeah, dude. John Leguizamo stole the shit movie.
Yeah, no, he does. He steals the show as Luigi, and everybody usually is like, oh, I don't want to play second player. I want to be Mario. Poor Bob Hoskins being so drunk on set and hating his life every minute of it.
I do feel sorry for him when I watch that movie as an adult now.
Even as a kid, though, I was one of those kids who, video game movies, I've hated all of them because I always felt like the source material's
Because
there.
they were made by Yui Bowl.
You know, the source material, it's like a book. The source material already exists. Fucking it up just shows ineptitude on your part.
You need to get a hold of Capcom and Resident Evil,
Oh, no, I don't think there's any saving the Resident Evil movies because I don't even think the original game would have made that good of a movie.
Oh,
Everything's kind of too spaced out, and then it really jumps the shark at the end when you literally fight a zombie shark.
Look, every Resident Evil fan, all they want is the fucking complete duplicate of the game in the mansion.
Yeah, they know. They want a complete movie duplicate of either Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 4, both who star Leon Kennedy.
Fuck them both, I want one! Resident Evil 1!
Oh my god. What you got for your list of top 5 worst?
Well, I already gave away Hackers. Was there? Obviously, Showgirls needs to be in the mix as one of the worst movies. That probably goes beyond just September stuff. Even though that movie has like a fan base, and I respect that, and I actually love that it's been embraced by a certain group of people in this country, but just not for me. Really bad movie. The Magnificent Seven remake with Denzel Washington is unwatchable. Horrible.
Oh, dude, bro, I almost put that on my top 5.
Yeah.
Not good,
That
man.
was like mindlessly entertaining.
Kind of like you said about 310 to Yuma, that's not even the best Magnificent Seven.
It's the same.
It really
kind of
isn't.
thing. And maybe if I was judging it without having seen the original, I might have been less offended by it. But knowing the original, yeah. And the other, my number, thinking about this right now a little bit deeper, would be another remake, and that's Straw Dogs. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with
Oh, so good, bro.
horrible. Fucking
Oh,
horrible.
no, not good.
No.
Wait. It's
Fucking, it fucked, but no, I remember Straw Dogs now. It's not good. It left me with nightmares.
Wait. Is Straw Dogs the one with the Cyclops in it?
No.
I
Straw
don't know who
Dogs is
Cyclops
all about like some fucking
Straw
inbred-
Dogs is this couple moves into
Shit
this
kicker
house.
family.
This guy rapes this dude's wife.
Oh yeah,
and he's
you're
not
talking
able
about
to
the
stand up
remake.
to it. Yeah, and they remade
Yeah,
it.
that's James Marsden, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
like
I believe so. The original.
Yeah,
had,
the big
Dustin
deal.
Hoffman.
Retard powers.
I went there with somebody and they
was
walked
me.
out of the theater.
It's me.
No.
It
It's
was
hor-
like
it's
it was
horrible.
rough to
Me.
watch.
It's not just
me.
rough to watch. It's,
No, remember I was like,
It was not you.
just give me one second.
I
The-
seen
the-
Straw Dogs in theaters with you. I remember because I walked out like, what the fuck did I just watch?
So that movie, the rape scene that's at the center of that film. There's a moment. It goes on for way too long, first of all, but then the woman starts enjoying it halfway through, and they turn it into a sexy rape scene, and it's fucking disgusting. It's foul filmmaking. It's horrible. It's to me inexcusable. It's something that's really gross. It feels like the male gaze put on rape, and it's just. I was so floored when I saw that.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
that was
it's-
a rough.
No, it's not like I've seen movies that have
Some
sexual
shit
assault,
tries
and
to
it's
happen after
uncomfortable.
that,
But
like you
to
gotta
me- so-
forget the fact
no.
that that
That scene's-
fucking
No.
happened.
So,
But
yeah.
the way that they shot that made it look like she was into it, that she was
Yeah.
enjoying that, and that when you do that, it's the whole point that she needed a man that would step up and take her. Is what that movie becomes about. Is the subtext of it when they shoot it that way, and it's just.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
horrible.
the scene's pretty disturbing. Have you seen the Straw Dogs remake?
Wait,
So like literally, so in the scene, yeah, she gets raped, and then she starts to enjoy it. It's very weird, but then like he's like trying to like be
I
like
remember her
he's trying to.
starts to enjoy it.
Yes,
I guess
yes.
I was too young when I watched
But
it.
then he starts to try to like be emotional with her, and she's starting to regret her enjoying being raped. And because of that, he like kind of like turns his back and and then the fucking
Friends rape her.
friends rape her.
I know, I
And
blocked
so
the
it's
fucking
a-
movie out of my goddamn mind.
It's
you know?
it's a rough watch. It's
And I did see that in
like-
theaters with you, and I was uncomfortable that I did that.
that movie is such a rough watch. Like I would not recommend anyone watch it.
I'm sorry.
Like no.
Yeah,
And I-
it's gonna be like so steady, like it's gonna push the limits. So we went to the theaters, and I had nothing to say after we went
And
out.
I'm pretty sure that movie had like the fakest deer kill scene in the world.
It's like, the raping was spot on, but the deer kill scene.
No, yeah, that's what was weird. Like they focused so much on the realistic rape that they skimmed out on
early
money.
2000s.
They skimmed
Killing CGI.
Yeah, they skimmed out on money. It was literally like they pushed over a fucking prop deer, is what it looked like when they shot it. Like it was
It just falls slowly.
man. Holy shit! What a list.
Sorry for going through and ending on kind of such a down note like that.
Oh my
wasn't
god,
sure
it's
if I was
so
gonna be
dark,
Hey,
bro.
hackers.
Hey, before our time limit runs out again because we're poor, we enjoyed having you on the podcast for
Thanks, man.
Oktoberfest. I hope you had fun chatting
Did.
with
This
us.
was great.
We do have two questions that we ask our guests every time. Are you a part of the Illuminati? And if they ask you to join, would you?
No.
Okay. And then also the second question we ask every guest
It's more
is
important.
Nickelback or Creed?
Yeah.
I would rather remove my ears.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like Nickelback.
This is a good
Fuck
guess
all
right
y'all.
here. You got good taste.
No, dude. No.
No, I feel you.
Life is too short to fill
No.
it with really bad
No.
music.
You know what's hilarious though? Like some people answer.
Hey,
No,
listen,
no,
I
I
feel
love-
like it was like liking Sweet Home Alabama, but afraid to admit it.
You know what's
All right?
crazy?
Nickelback
See,
is good.
I thought about that being my joke answer for the worst movies. I was just going to say whatever Adam's list was, just go ahead and take that. That was going to be my worst list and go by that. So
That was our list
Of the day.
That were our list
Of
of
the
films.
month.
September's best and worst
The
films.
limited list.
This man right here was properly prepared. Everyone else was because of me were improperly prepared,
I was so prepared, bro.
and
I had
I
to town, that's all I needed.
chose films that resonated with my memory and not necessarily with my actual taste in film.
Like the town and how flawless it was, right?
But it was a great time having you on. Do you want to plug anything before we exit out?
yeah, sure. I have a film podcast. It's called Following Films. Like I mentioned at the top, I've been doing it for about 8 years. I interview independent filmmakers, directors, writers, actors, all kind of stuff like that. So if you like film, give it a shot. You might like it.
Woo! Fucking films, baby. Oh my god. Love it. Love it. What would you guys rate this beer that we had?
4 out of 10.
Yes.
4 out of 10?
We're 5.
A 2? A 5?
It's drinkable. It's
Gosh,
not that
dang.
It's water, bro.
Look, they asked for beer flavored beer.
Well, I didn't get beer flavored beer. I got fucking alcoholic water.
That's beer flavored beer, damn
No,
it.
god damn it!
That's
You can
literally
taste
beer
the fucking
flavored
beer.
beer, dude.
It fucking tastes good.
And that's just your opinion.
And that's fine, because all we have here are
Our opinions and beer.
We are a million